Hi, this is Mara, and I am here with Christina, who I don't know how it shows up on your screen, so I'll just point all directions. And she is a, an American who also happens to be Ukrainian. And she's got stories that she shared in our healing circle at 4 p.m. Pacific time on March 7. And I asked her to stay after and share some more stories with us. So, Christina, the first thing I'd love you to do is just again share your name and how we would hear it if we were in Ukraine, and a little bit about how you're connected to what's going on now.
Excellent. Thank you, Mara. My name is Christina Chomut. In Ukrainian, it's Christina Chomut. And I am Ukrainian American. I was born here in the United States. My parents, my father is from Buchach and my mother's family is from Lviv. We currently have family in Buchach, Lviv, and Kiev, and Odessa. And we are deeply connected and rooted to the Ukrainian community and diaspora here in the United States, in Canada, as well as our family, colleagues, friends, and partners in Ukraine. Thank you so much for sharing space.
You know what's scary is how these names of cities have become so familiar to all of us as we've heard about what's been happening and seen the images. I know that you've been on top of this as best you can because of having family there. What can you tell us about what's the last thing you've heard from them? And keeping in mind, I know that you're not, there, but you're certainly like very personally connected to people who are.
Thank you. Yes, I would say actually as a response to the fact that a lot of cities in Ukraine have become a lot more known to the West, to Americans, and to globally. I would say that it's a horrific reason for these cities and for Ukraine to gain this type of popularity in mainstream media. But there's something, a personal story is that growing up, every time I would share with anyone, friends, colleagues, that I was Ukrainian, their response 9 out of 10 times would be, "Oh, you're Russian." And it's this, yeah, this kind of projection about not really identifying Ukraine in its sovereignty and in its independence. And so I'm proud that that Ukrainians are one standing, that globally the world is standing with Ukraine, and I feel that the reasoning behind the cities and towns and villages in Ukraine being able to be focused on in mainstream media, the reason is not good, but I'm glad that people are actually acknowledging Ukraine as an independent sovereign country.
I think it resonates to all of us, this idea of independence and being very, clear that you're not going to control me. You don't get to own me. And I never even thought about Ukraine as being Russian until you said that. But then I don't think my geopolitical history is all that strong inside of me. So at this time, what can people do to be helpful?
Thank you, Mara. One of the first and foremost things is something, Mara, you yourself are doing, is giving Ukrainians a voice, an opportunity to share with community and in community, anything, their language, any historical facts, anything that can show solidarity, showing the colors of Ukraine, blue and yellow, representing the flag. And there's something we did speak about in our healing circle, is that when referring to Ukraine, referring to it just as Ukraine versus putting the article the before Ukraine, as the refers to more the Soviet Union, and people have that reference in there, or that framework in their mind. And so they oftentimes refer to Ukraine as the Ukraine, which is improper. Showing solidarity would be to refer to Ukraine as Ukraine solely. And there's some resources. There's so many, and I'm sure that everyone is being inundated with so much information, so many news articles. My recommendation would be to find news that's on the ground in Ukraine. So the Kyiv KYIV Independent is a nonprofit news source, news organization in Ukraine that's doing on the ground reporting. They have an online platform. Also, if on Instagram, Ukraine.ua is the official, approved by the Prime Minister of Ukraine, that this is the site where a lot of information is being fed, so that there's, again, real on the ground reporting, truthful reporting, accurate reporting. There's also With Ukraine, WITHUKRAINE. That's another site on Instagram. The hashtag Stand With Ukraine. There will be a lot of information there. And then the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, he has his own Instagram account in which he is posting daily videos to the communities and the public globally. And there's also on the ground reporting happening through his Instagram account. And it's Zelensky. It's ZELENSKIY_official, OFFICIAL. And so those are just a few resources.
Wow.
I would also say one more would be, there's incredible organizations doing on the ground work. There's one called Razum for Ukraine. They're a US-based and Ukrainian-based organization. They've raised over $4 million in the last week. They have volunteers working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they actually, as for a story, they rented a Boeing 757 to fill with medical supplies, and they're flying it to Ukraine because they thought it would be the fastest, quickest way to get medical support and supplies to Ukraine.
Yeah.
So there's some really phenomenal work that's happening. And Mara, I know I'll be sharing some resources with you that you'll be spreading out to the community, but I'll also include my email, and anyone can reach out to me directly as well.
Yeah, and I encourage people to do so, because this is a situation that can be continually updated. And should everything, come to pass the way we'd like to see it, and this war is over very quickly, then there'll be a lot of rebuilding needed. And so the continued support is going to be necessary for that to happen. I think this is a good place for us to kind of wrap it up. And that way it's short enough. I hope everybody can receive the links that I'm going to make available afterwards, so people can click on things easily and maybe do their own research, including, like we said before, your information, so they can get back to you and find out more ways to help. And yes, people can give things, or they can give money. There are many ways to do it, even whereas the House of Ukraine in our United Nations villages here at Balboa Park, if people are watching this or in San Diego, they're doing collections. A lot of people who are Ukrainian, who have businesses and life here in the United States, are actually doing what you're talking about, getting goods together and shipping them over. Whatever it takes.
Thank you.
Everything's needed. So thank you. It's so beautiful to have you in my life, and I'm so thankful we could connect right now to do this together. Thank you so much, Christine.
Me as well, Mara. Thank you so much, and thank you to the community.